Okay, so I haven't made one of these BDSM Bible videos in probably years, but it's time to come back to my bread and butter, my BDSM sexy bedroom business bullshit. Yeah, so we're going to be talking about praising dirty talk in bed and how it could make her and your bedroom experience fucking awesome, right? Dirty talk is great for a lot of reasons. It shows your passion. It makes her feel desired, which is one of the reasons why BDSM in general is such a turn on for women. Oh, and also before we get really in deep here, you should probably always go watch the first video in this series. I kind of cover some things like consent and, questions that you may have about dominant and submissive and blah, blah, blah that, you might have some resistance to, or you might just, want to have some questions answered that I won't necessarily cover in this video. So if you do want to get into the nitty gritty of all that, I suggest you go watch the first video. I may or may not put a link in the description if I remember. Just look up on the channel BDSM Bible and it'll be like the first one. Something about being a Dom, being a good Dom, a responsible Dom. So, yeah, the reason why BDSM in general is so attractive to women is because of the nature of sexuality. Women are generally looking for dominant and men are generally looking for submissive. There's people who are exceptions, but they're the exceptions for a reason. The general rule is that, the masculine sexuality poses itself as dominant and the female sexuality poses itself as submissive, and that's played out in how it physically works, right? A hard object kind of sinking into a soft receiving object. And then it also plays out in general personality dispositions of men and women and what they're attracted to, feminine behavior versus masculine behavior. Men and women have varying degrees on a spectrum of, like, you can have feminine men who are still actually really good with girls, masculine men who are not good with girls at all, and then, feminine women and masculine women, but generally, they're on one side of the spectrum more heavily than the other. But so not only is it kind of just ingrained in the nature of it, there's also the aspect of, well, I guess it's a consequent of that. When men are being more rough, to the degree that she's comfortable, it is a demonstration of passion, right? So within the context of the bedroom, there is like a little bit of this objectification where, I care about you, I love you, but right now I'm going to treat you like an object, right? And I'll check in with you, of course, and make sure everything's okay and pay attention, right? It's not like I'm going to go full psycho mode. But like to a large degree, I'm going to kind of treat you like, a fleshlight, and I'm going to kind of do what I want to you, again, within the bounds of consent. But, I'm going to play with you, right? And usually I've seen that when I fall into that energy, and so does she, the sex feels the best. Like, she can fully sink into being submissive, right? Which is called subspace. She's within this space. She's like fully surrendering, right? And she hits her most feminine and sweet. And I've never, ever experienced a woman being as wet, as orgasmic, as sultry and sexy, and just like her vibe, like she just turns into another person, right? She turns into a whore. I've never seen women hit these levels of pleasure and sexiness as they do when they get into subspace. And the converse, I've never seen myself be so, it sounds weird, but it feels so sexy and strong and virile as when I'm being fully dominant. Like, my dick is as hard as a fucking diamond. Like, I could not, like, my dick is so hard it's actually hurting a little bit. Like it's so engorged, it's like just fucking like pulsating, right? And it's just a really, really great feeling, and it's kind of the apex of what you're looking for when you're having sex. It's kind of the idealization of the man and the woman. But really rough sex it being the idealization of the dominant and submissive kind of dichotomy, there's also an aspect of like, because she's the object getting, pounded into or being, there is so much passion coming from you. Like when your dick is that hard, like she can feel it. I mean, you're fucking inside of her. Like she can feel every inch of you, right? She can feel every pulsation that you have, just like you can feel every contraction of her vaginal walls. Like, you can feel her wetness just kind of slipping all over you. You can hear her breath. Like it's a very intimate experience, right? And so every little thing that adds to the feeling that she's being desired is going to make her feel more, she's going to fall deeper into that subspace. And then in the converse, the more submissive and malleable and kind of, and also but feminine, and like she's moaning or even whimpering, like the more she can fall into that space, the more that's going to turn you on, because they're just these energies, I guess, are being kind of idealized, and they're stretching each other to their extremes, but then creating a balance because they're giving each other that pull. So, hopefully that wasn't too fucking woo-woo for you. I think I grounded it pretty well in simple everyday language. Dichotomy. Fancy words, Hector. But, yeah, anyway, super fucking fancy, overcomplicated, convoluted way of saying girls like it when you're rough, right? But dirty talk, the reason why it's such a nice addition to it is because you are verbalizing your desire, right? And you can do it both with praising and with degrading. So I'll do degrading in the next video, and I'll do praising right now. We'll start with the positive, right? I think they're really good in tandem. I think that praising and degrading work hand in hand, right? I'll explain why. Right, I guess, yeah. So let's just start with like how to praise girls in bed, right? So this is assuming you've watched the first video that kind of covers things, but you're dealing with words, so you're not in any really dangerous situation. Like, if you're getting into like really rough shit, or you're fucking her in the ass, like this kind of stuff, yeah, you're gonna have to play things very carefully, or just have an outright discussion about it. But, when you're just talking, I mean, the worst that's going to happen is you say something and she's like, huh? and then, but honestly, when it comes to dirty talk, it's one of those things where you kind of have to sell it really well. There's two aspects. You have to sell it really well, and then you have to be sexy enough that she's going to let you kind of do this with her. It's kind of like that, I guess you can call it a trope of like, a girl who, let's say she has a lot of fun in her earlier years, has threesomes, gets double teamed by some guys, or, has her slut phase or whatever. And then she gets older and she finds a guy to settle down with him, blah, blah, blah. And they have, nice sex, but it's nothing crazy, right? But then this guy, let's say the husband, tries to like spice it up, and she's like, not into that. I bet it happens. And kind of the center point of that meme is that, you're not sexy enough for her to go to that level with you, right? There could be some aspects of like she doesn't want to show you that side of her because you might judge her, right? There is that aspect, which is also a problem on your end, right? She shouldn't feel judged by you, especially in the bedroom, and pretty much in general. But there is a certain level of like, there are certain guys she's willing to do more stuff with because they turn her on more. And I've had girls straight up admit this to me, like talking to girls about, let's say, first date sex, right? And some girls like, no, I would never have sex in the first date, which is, bullshit. What she means is I wouldn't have sex in the first date unless it's the right guy. And I've had girls just admit to me, yeah, I mean, if I met my fucking dream celebrity tomorrow, I'd let him smash on the first date. So it's like, okay, so this standard is different depending on the guy, which is exactly what we try to teach when we teach seduction. Like, if you are charismatic enough, if you are sexy enough, not just looks wise, right? A lot of what women consider sexy is in your behaviors. They do like good looks, right? But they're more swayed by personality, whereas men are more heavily visual, but they can still be swayed by personality. They're just more heavily swayed by visual stuff. Well, women are on the other end, right? So your behaviors can be more what makes you sexy. And so when it comes to dirty talk, like praising, it's a little bit safer than degradation talk, which we'll get into, like I said, later. But there is a certain extent of, like, once you start to talk dirty, you do have to be sexy enough for, like, to pull it off. But what's interesting, because of what I just explained, how your personality is a lot of what makes you sexy as a man to women, the first part of, like, selling it, like actually doing it well, is going to make you sexy enough to a large extent. There is going to be a certain portion of, like, how much does she like you? I mean, she likes you enough to be having sex with you, but, there's definitely some guys girls like more than others in bed, okay? So I always, whenever I think of that, I think of this article. I don't know if it's real or not, but I saw it in enough places that maybe it is real. And it was some woman, she was, like, dying of, like, I don't know, fucking cancer. And she asked her husband, like, as one of her dying wishes, could she have sex with her ex-boyfriend one more time? And I was just like, wow. Well, like one of the worst things you could ever hear from someone, right? I suppose at least she's honest, at least she's asking, so I guess she gets kudos for that. But it's just kind of like, wow, she liked this guy so much better than you. Like, she doesn't want to spend her last days, holding your hand in it. She wants to get fucking wrecked by this dude from college or whatever. So, girls definitely do enjoy. I'm really sink back into this chair. Oh, I'm just sinking into my chair space, just letting it envelop me. Fucking weird. But yeah, so they're gonna, some girls are gonna like some dudes better than others, right? But a lot of what they do like is gonna be, do you make her pussy that wet? And what makes her that wet on that level is gonna be your personality, right? And so selling it, basically saying it fucking really confidently and also well, is going to, she might have that moment of like, I don't know. But then if, like, you say it confidently enough, people will, it's kind of like when you walk into, I don't know, you're in some area of a restaurant, you walk into, like, a VIP area, and you just kind of confidently walk in there, right? Like, if you've ever been into a VIP section of, like, an event or a club, and you're supposed to be there, but, like, as you start to walk and there's those guards, you kind of hesitate for a moment, like, do they know? But, like, you just confidently walk through and they let you go. Maybe they didn't actually see you in there. They just assume, you probably wouldn't be going for it unless you were already in there. So the same thing, like, the fact that you're going to go for it kind of also implies that you are that high value. It's kind of like when I always have all these comparisons. Like, when you approach a really hot girl, like, you get points just for fucking approaching her, because on some level you had the audacity to believe you could actually get her, right? Like, you really, the audacity, you believe that you can actually get her. Otherwise you wouldn't have approached her, right? So you definitely get some points. It doesn't secure you a spot, but it definitely gets you in the race. So, yeah, you're going to want to say this shit real confidently, okay? And this is going to be hyper cringe because I am a grown man. I keep shaking this table when I just have my leg all on this table. And it's going to be cringe because I'm a grown man talking to mostly other grown men. And I'm going to say some really, like, sexual shit, okay? So bear with the cringe. That's just inevitable because you're not some girl that I'm seducing who wants to fuck me, she's in the mood, right? A lot of sexual things seem really cringe from the outside. So, but yeah, so we're going to do praising, right? 15 minutes in, and I'm finally going to get to the goddamn point, right? Well, that's just what I do. It's how I run my videos. Suck a dick if you don't like it. Now, how do you do, like, what are you actually going to say, right? Well, there's a shit ton of things you can say, right? So generally your compliments, let's write this down so you can keep track. Your compliments are going to range from, right? I just said compliments. Your comments are going to range from, they're going to be compliments. approval, and then you're gonna do compliments. The exact compliments you're gonna have are gonna be like her beauty, and also her like demeanor, right? And then approval is gonna be like, oh, you're so good, good girl, stuff like that, right? And you have your stock phrases, like good girl, right? And as cringe as you think this shit is, I mean, girls fucking love it. I mean, I can tell you. So, yeah. So let's go over like the words, and then we'll go over like how to actually say it, and then in what context. You can say them kind of rough, and you can say them, kind of. What's the tonality? You can say them soft also, and then you can almost say them in like a mocking tone. I'll explain what that is. It's kind of funny, but it fucking works. So general compliments are going to be, you're so beautiful, you're so sexy, oh my god, your ass is so nice, oh your tits are so nice, oh my god, your lips, your pussy, so tight, so wet. You're just going to be complimenting her, right? And then you're going to compliment her demeanor, right? You're such a sweet girl. Daddy love you so much. That's kind of the mocking tone, right? If you're into like that daddy poppy shit, some guys think it's weird, but most girls fucking like it. Like vast majority of girls. And it's not really an Oedipal complex or anything like that. It's just about authority. It's not about like being her dad, literally. So, yeah, her demeanor, like her behavior, right? Like you could even talk about something she did this day, like you were such a good girl, like cooking for me, you're such a good girlfriend, you're such a good wife, like just like literal like praising her behaviors. Like it doesn't necessarily have to be something in the bedroom, right? So I guess that goes into approval. So you just have compliments and you have approval. But you can also do approvals of, so approval of general life things, like you cooked a really good meal today, right? But you're doing it like a sexy, like, oh, you're so good. You cook for daddy. Oh, you're such a sweet girl. This is your prize. You can kind of do shit like that. Or you can do like approval of bedroom things, like, oh, you suck my dick so good, you're such a good girl, and you can do like little kissies with it, right? I'll get more into that. Kissies, strokes, so she's like sucking your dick and you're just like stroking her hair and you're, oh, you're such a good girl, you suck dick so good, like it fucking works, dude. Right. So yeah, so complimenting her beauty, or like her body, complimenting just general life things, and then like something she's doing in the bedroom, like, oh, you take that dick so good, blah blah blah. So general like good girl is going to be like your stock phrase, but then you can actually like combine it with degradation, and like you're such a good little slut, right? But we'll get into that in the next video, right? So your tonality, so those are the words, right? And you can just come up with anything, and you don't have to be super fucking creative. Sometimes you're just be like, oh, you're such a good little girl, or like, oh, you're so good for Poppy, take that dick. That's it. But then your tonality is really important because you have to sell this shit, like I said, right? So you can kind of do this contrast where you're speaking really roughly, but then you're saying sweet things like, you're such a fucking good little girl. Yeah, take that dick, right? That's like rough tonality, but you're saying something really sweet, like, fuck your pussy, god, it feels so fucking good, right? And you want to be like passionate about it, right? Like you can even get in her fucking ear, like, yeah, baby, take that fucking dick. Oh, you're so good for Poppy. Like, again, I know this is fucking cringe, boys. Try not to get a boner, but someone's got to teach you. So rough demeanor, or rough tonality, and then you have soft tonality. Be like, oh, you're so sweet. Oh, such a good girl. You suck daddy's dick so good. Like that, right? And then there's like the mocking sweet tone, which is kind of weird. I just found myself doing it. I guess because I don't know. I'm good at insulting people, I guess. But it's just like I have this superpower. I have this power to just make people fucking like I know how to insult people super hard. I'm not I guess I am bragging about it in a weird way. But I just always have this, especially my laugh. I have this like mocking laugh that I do, especially with people in arguments when I was younger. I don't do it anymore. I just like I can't really like replicate it like off the cuff, but I would just like, yeah, like laugh at people, like make them look fucking dumb, right? And I kind of take that tone sometimes when I'm talking dirty. And it's just like, let me see if I can do it right now. It's a little bit harder to be like, oh, you're such a good girl. You take that dick. Yeah, you dumb little fucking slut. You know, like it's just like, I'm speaking softly, but like, oh, you're so cute. Like, like it's baby talk, right? It's fucking weird, but like, dude, like you're just like stroking this fucking girl, like you're using her like a fleshlight, and you're just like, oh yeah, you took that dick, you little fucking bitch, you know. And dude, she's like, oh, like fucking losing it, right? Like, and you know it's part of your dirty talk, because when you start to talk dirty, she fucking just gets, you know, she just starts fucking grabbing sheets and grabbing your skin, and just like, right? If you're not getting reactions like that, you need to be having some better sex, right? Um, so yeah, like a mocking tonality. Yeah, you're such a good girl. Yeah, take daddy's dick. Oh yeah, suck that. You suck so good. Oh yeah, right. Yeah, it's kind of a mocking tone, right? And then you can obviously add to it, like when you're doing it, you can fuck harder, right? Like, you know, oh yeah, took that dick, right? I know y'all have this in you. I know every one of you has this fucking dude in you who wants to be that like fucking caveman. You just gotta find it, right? And when you unlock it, girls love it. I've had dudes where I'm like, dude, how are you smashing? Like, I'm not gonna go watch you, but tell me. And they kind of tell me, I'm like, dude, you need to go hard, right? And I want, and they'll do it, and they'll come back to me like, dude, I've never came like that, or I've never had a girl get so fucking into it. And I'm like, yep. But a lot of us just, we put restraints on ourselves, right? Obviously, like if she's not comfortable with it, blah blah blah. But you know, she's a fucking adult. She's gonna let you know. She's like, hey, don't talk to me like that, right? But then you should have a conversation with her. Be like, hey, I'm into that shit. If you're not into it, then okay, I'll find someone who is. Like, you know, if she's not into that shit, there's probably a good level of not sexy that she finds you, or she has some sort of like walls built up because of who the fuck knows, right? But in most cases, if she liked you enough, she'd do it. Not do it just for the sake of doing it, but like fucking enjoy it. Right? I'm not saying like obligatory, I do what he says because, you know, I'm a dumb woman and I have to listen to man. Like, she's gonna like it, right? You can add kisses onto it. Like, I'll do like the mocking tone, right? So just be like, just laying her out, you know, fucking her from here to Baghdad. And then I like, it's actually good to do a contrast with like really rough sex. Like, you're just like fucking ripping that shit up, right? And then you're just and at the same time though, you're talking really soft, so you're like fucking slamming into it, and you're just like, you're such a good girl, you take daddy's dick so good, yeah, take that dick, you know. I'm having fun with the voice now. That sounds a little bit too nerdy, like, oh yeah, take that dick, girl, yeah. Yeah, you like that shit, huh? Like, no, you gotta be a little sexier with it. I'm kind of just having fun with the cringe right now, because I'm trying not to laugh too much, because it's fucking weird. I'm talking to, you know, thousands of dudes. But like, if you're just like getting it, be like, oh yeah, baby, yeah, take that. Oh, you're such a good girl. You take that dick so good. You're fucking. Oh yeah, I love that pussy. Like, but you're just like fucking slamming into it, right? And then the same for, like the contrast. I'll get into the degrading. Like, you can just say the most vile shit to girls while you're just like slowly like stroking in and out, right? But yeah, so create that contrast. And then like kisses, you can be like, oh, you're such a good girl. Like, take that dick. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Take daddy's cock. Oh yeah, such a beautiful girl. Oh, your ass is so amazing, right? And then like the stroking, right? You can just be like mid like fucking devastation, and you just like look at her and like look daddy in the eyes, and she turns and she's like, you know, and you're just like, you're such a good girl, baby. You're so good. Like, icon, like being like balls deep in a bitch, staring her in the eyes, fucking praising her, telling her how beautiful she is, and she can feel the truth, right? She can feel the fucking truth. It's inside of her. It is undeniable truth of your passion for her. And you look her in the eyes and you say, you got it. Like, she's yours, right? Right? She's going to, put on a dog collar and like property of Poppy. Like, that's the kind of shit you'll get if you fuck a girl like that. So yeah, that's generally like good praise, dirty talk. So I guess we'll move on to degradation in the next video, because I'm already at 25 minutes. Jesus Christ. I mean, I spent 15 minutes priming my shit, but again, that's what I do, so suck a dick. What else do I need to cover here? Yeah, we'll just get into degradation next. And like I said, man, you gotta sell this shit. You gotta really, really sell it. I mean, you gotta say it with your chest, okay? Because if you like half-ass it, it's not gonna be so persuasive and it won't land, right? So you kind of just gotta swing for the fences, man, and just see how you're doing. And if at first you don't succeed, try with a different girl, or try with her again, or have a conversation with her about it. But oh my god, I need glasses. Holy shit. But yeah, so that's praising. Have fun with it, and let me know. Let me know. Let me know how it goes. leave a comment in the section the next time you bust out a bitch and compliment the shit out of her. It's generally a lot easier than degradation, because in degradation you're saying some wild shit that a girl might not be cool with, or she might be. Sometimes you're just like, yeah, open your mouth like a good little slut, and she's like, bleh, and you're like, oh god, we're really in this bitch. Yeah, I got shit in the description. You can buy it. Obviously, I know what the fuck I'm talking about. So if you want to learn how to meet girls, I got a course for that. If you want to learn how to text girls, I got a course for that. I don't have a sex course. I do plan on having one in the future, but it won't happen anytime soon. I do plan on, once I make it, though, I have this guy who makes drawings for me. Because I like random like manga stuff. I have these like posters. That's from King and Ashura. That's from Doom. It's kind of my motivational stuff. I kind of like, whenever I'm going through a hard time, these are the kind of attitudes I like to have. What I would want, he made those for me. And so what I would want to have him do is like create like little, almost like position drawings. And I think that it would be really good, because I thought about a long time ago. I was like, oh, I can just make a porno. I'm like, well, if I'm the one doing it, it just looks fucking weird. Like, I'm making guys buy a product just to watch me fucking turn out some girl. And it's just kind of weird. And then, otherwise I'd have to hire actors to do it. And like, I'm not going to go fucking like, all right, we'll put your dick here. And like, I'd feel like such a fucking cuck, It's like, I'm either going to fuck the girl or I'm not, right? But I think I found a good middle ground. Just make little fucking drawings or like GIFs, right, to show the different positions and how to exactly, like the modernized Kama Sutra, better than the Kama Sutra. But yeah, so that's that, and then I'll see you in the next video. So I hope you enjoyed it. Buy my shit in the description. If you're interested in coaching, sign up for a consultation. Best way to learn from me. Let's see, what am I missing here? I don't know. Kind of just awkwardly ending the session. Very bad orgasm ending to the video, but it's okay. Go fuck yourself. I love you. That's a weird thing to say in a video like this. That's usually my like outgoing, like, go fuck yourself. I love you guys. But we were just talking about like dirty talk, saying I love you to a bunch of guys. Kind of weird. Anyways, like, subscribe, ring the bell. Go fuck yourself. I love you. Bye.